Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm reading for Gemini energy today and I'm reading for the month of May. So it may not resonate in the moment. You may want to come back to it kind of like midway through May and see if it resonates then. Sometimes that happens with my own readings. I'll kind of like be like, this doesn't make any sense at all, and then I'll come back to it and I'll be like, everything I said was 100% spot on. So yeah, just be aware that kind of it might be a grower, not a shower. Your energy is coming through as really childish, which I'm not surprised about because Gemini is kind of like the child of the zodiac, but you're coming through as actually stressed out. It's funny because I was getting this really childish energy, and it was coming through Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. And I was just shaking. I was just like, because I felt like I needed to kind of shake off Taurus's energy, which as the Hierophant, I guess, kind of was coming through a little bit kind of like oppressive and kind of thick. And
That wasn't me.
what was that? The angels are here, guys. The angels are singing to us. My eldest is behind us, by the way. This is Jay. I just thought that the music would come back on, and it wasn't. I don't know what it was. So yeah, I was stood up and I was kind of like, I was like, I need to shake off Taurus's energy, and just started like full body shaking. So you know, like when a dog's been in a river and it gets out and it kind of like full body shakes, and it just felt so good, and I was just like proper like shaking my whole body out. So I don't know if you like, maybe you're working in an office or something, maybe you've been sat in a chair for too long, maybe you just kind of want to. It was making me think of a kids song as well, which is Wake Up Shake Up. It used to be the song that my kids used to sing every day, every morning in school. Wake up, shake up. It was like get your body moving, and now I'm getting body moving, get your body moving. Wait, what's that song? It's I can't even think of the name of the band right now. Is it Beastie Boys? Get your body moving. Yeah, just kind of like, I don't know if you just need to move your body, maybe go out for a walk, stretch. I don't know what your physical range is like at the moment. Maybe you've got like limitations on what you can do, but anything you can do, even if it's just putting your hands out in front of you and shaking your hands, like, you know, just it's like burning off some energy, or just being silly. It like felt really good to just be silly in that moment. And then I couldn't sit properly on my chair. You know, like sometimes like kids can kind of like wriggle and like sit weird and like stand on the chair and things rather than actually just sitting still on the chair.
Oh,
So you,
excuse me, I feel called out.
yeah, you're very wriggly. But yeah, I just kind of like, I just felt really kind of like I had like all this kind of like energy and I wanted to kind of move. And so even like the way I'm gesturing now, it's very kind of, I feel like a child. But yeah, the song that came on Jay's kind of playing songs behind me as I was kind of getting this for you is this song called Stressed Out by 21 Pilots, which is which is a song about wanting to go back to the good old days of where they were a kid, right? And their needs were met and their mum would sing them to sleep and things like this. And they could go out and play and imagine they were building rocket ships. And so, but it's like they're not, right? They're grown-ups, they've got to go out and make money, they've got responsibilities, and they're all stressed out. So I feel like maybe this is you, maybe you are, maybe you're not even self-aware of like how stressed out you are, or like what your responsibilities are doing to you, like the toll that they're taking on your body. And maybe you do need to just go out and be silly. They flashed up an image of kindergarten cop. So like, you know how like it's kind of like grown up children, or children like like adults who need to be a big kid kind of thing. So they were showing me like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's like this big man, right, being silly in this classroom full of like little tiny preschoolers. So it's like maybe you're going to be around children, you know, it's going to let you bring out your silly side, you know, you're going to be able to just, I just think you need to go out and have fun and be silly and like be a big kid. So the music video to that 21 Pilots song is these two guys, and they're on kind of like you know, trikes. They're like riding around the neighborhood on trikes. So maybe you do, you know, maybe you need to get on a bike, on a trike, and just be silly, right? A trampoline they're showing me. So yeah, it's like go out and have some fun. What else have I got in my notes for you? So yeah, Shake It Off, Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. You could be really worried about what people think of you. I care what you think is a line from 21 Pilots, the 21 Pilots song. I care what you think. But Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, she's obviously saying, I don't care what they say, right? I stay up too late, that's what people say, but I keep moving, grooving, can't stop, won't stop moving. So it's like maybe something that happens a lot around here, and I feel like I started this. um, there's a couple of schools in the area, and you'll see like the parents drop off the kids at school, and they'll like take the kids to school on like the scooter or something, and then the kids aren't allowed to take the scooters into school, so the parents have to take the scooter home. And you'll see parents like scooting up the pavement, like kind of like on the way home with the kid's scooter. So it's like, who cares, right? Who cares if you're riding a scooter around and you're an adult? Like, you know, anyone who's going to make fun of you, they're just a stuffy, old, boring, stressed out adult, and like you're the one having fun and they're just jealous, right? So I don't know, shake it off, do what you want to do, don't worry about what people think. If you need to be a big kid and go out and have some fun, then do it. Also, this thing about did I was thinking about like weddings. You know, when you're a kid and you go to people's weddings, and you kind of like, you've got the disco ball. Disco ball came out for Taurus as well a little bit, and it's got like all the lights moving on the floor. Did you ever do that thing where you like run around chasing the lights, like trying to stand on them or trying to like follow one around the room? And then like, do you ever do the thing when you're a kid and you spin around until you get dizzy and then you fall over, or you shake until you're dizzy and fall over? It's like, I don't know, it's just coming through like really childish but really fun. So that is your intuitive messages. From my own deck, you've got the desert, but what's interesting on the underlying is you've got the banquet. So this was coming through like a mirage, an oasis in the desert, right? It's kind of like, it's making me think of like the opening scene of John Wick 4 as well. He's like in the desert and he kind of like goes up to that little kind of like camping tent area. So it's like, you could have been going through something in your life where you feel like you've been through an emotional dry spell. You know, maybe you felt like, when am I going to get out of this situation? There's nothing here for me. I just keep persevering and, you know, walking forward, and I'm not getting that kind of nourishment that I need. But it's then like this thing appears. So I don't know, it could be something like a mirage. It could be a bit too good to be true. But I'm kind of seeing it as like real nourishment after a dry spell, because the banquet is like abundant. It's because it like nothing, what's underneath the banquet, like, yeah, so there's nothing under there to say, like the moon didn't come out, for example. Like the clouds were there, but it's all in reverse. So it's like, I want to say there is something where it's like real nourishment after a period of feeling like there was nothing there, in whatever way, shape or form that is. But it's also giving me like the dessert, like not the desert but the dessert at a banquet. So again, Taurus did have a message, watch out if you Taurus Gemini cusp, because they had this thing about overindulging, like watch what you eat, don't overindulge. So just be careful about overindulging. If you're going out for a meal perhaps and you know that you're going to want that dessert, don't have like a starter, a side, like 5 cocktails, you know, like it's almost like pace yourself for what you really want. Something like that as well coming through for you there. But the dessert at the banquet as well, it's like, again, being the kid, right? Like the best part of the meal is the dessert, kind of that kind of attitude of like, I want the fun thing. I think as you get older, you're more like, I really want a nice pasta. You know, I'm really craving a nice lasagna. But you know, it's I think a metaphor of kind of like the fun bit. Right, Gemini, let's see. What do we have for Gemini for May, please? What's going on? What's the situation? They're giving me to fix the situation. What's that? It won't be a waste of breath for us. It's Taylor Parks. We have a conversation to fix the situation. Maybe someone's called Taylor because you've got 2 Taylor names. Maybe you're going to go to a tailor, you know, like a dressmaker tailor. We need to talk. It's We Need to Talk by Taylor Parks, sorry. Flexible. So it's a situation that could go in different directions. I want to say you need to be flexible in this situation. So that's probably why you're getting all this stuff about being quite childish. It's kind of like, don't be childish. Obviously, if this is a work situation, you don't want to be a big child in the boardroom. But it's kind of like, have some fun. You're getting a lot of songs. Have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. It's like disco. This disco thing keeps coming back up as well. That's making me think of Dance Alone by Taylor Parks now. I don't want to dance alone. Disco lights really bring out your eyes. So yeah, you could be going to a disco. I feel like that comes up quite often for you. You have this thing about going to an event, going to a party. I think you had a reading a few months back about, it was like they were showing me Harley Quinn in the club, and it was like, you don't have to drink every shot that people buy you, right? If like people are giving you a bottle, like you can look like you're drinking out the bottle, but you spit your that's from Coyote Ugly. So you're getting a lot of different references. It's coming through thick and fast. So there's a scene in Coyote Ugly where she teaches her, if someone buys you a shot and you don't want to drink it, do it with a chaser and like spit the drink back into the bottle. But it could be things like, you know, when it's really busy, you can sometimes just pick your drink up and go and put it down somewhere else and like be like, oh yeah, I must have drank it. You know, you can kind of get away with kind of not necessarily drinking every drink that's bought for you. But yeah, that came through a few months back. I don't know why it's come back up again, but maybe you do something where, maybe you do something with events. You go to a lot of events, you know, you don't always want to be getting completely, you know, you don't want to overindulge every single time you go to an event, especially if it's like a work event. You know, you don't want to be the one that's legless getting dragged off the dance floor at the end of the night. You want to kind of keep your composure. This is kind of going through like party tricks as well now. Maybe you've got party tricks that you can do. It's kind of almost like balancing on the bar kind of thing. I mean, I don't know, be flexible. 19, something could happen on the 19th for you of May. We'll see. What have you got on the underlying? Building blocks. So that's the thing. So this is like Lego now. So when you've got the building blocks of something, it can be whatever you want it to be. Again, you have that thing about building spaceships, right? Building rocket ships. So it's like, if you've got the building blocks, it's almost like the magician's toolbox, right? If you know the magician card in the tarot, it's like you can make your dreams happen because you've got everything you need there on the table to do it. So you've got the building blocks of something that could potentially be really good. But it's like, be flexible with the how. It's like, it could be anything. It's like, you don't have to craggle it. You don't have to craggle it. If you know the Lego movie, you don't have to craggle this. You know, you can keep it as something that can be broken back down and rebuilt into something different and something new. It's like, keep the situation flexible, keep the situation, maybe don't lock anything down or don't fix anything right now. Again, if you're Taurus cusp, Taurus had this thing about just get the ball rolling. Like, you don't have to lock everything into place. Like, just get the situation moving. And it has a similar feeling. Doesn't she look a little bit like Taylor Swift? I don't know. It's like something about her hair. Give me Taylor Swift energy. Clean it up. Okay. There's something as well about that where she's not really seeing. She's like looking off into the distance. So like, if we combine that with like the desert energy, it's almost like she's surrounded by a banquet, right? She's surrounded by everything she needs, but she's too busy looking off into the horizon to apply anything that's in her current situation effectively. So just watch out for that as well. What is Gemini's energy in the month of May? Obviously, you're going to have different energies. You're thinking too small. You're kind of coming through really shy. You're not really speaking up for yourself. It could be because there's somebody around you who you see as a little bit sly. So you're keeping yourself to yourself a little bit. You know, you're keeping out of view. Yeah, don't think too small. Don't think too badly of yourself in May, unless you're being strategic for some reason. I mean, the mouse is very much, it's an observer energy. It's not really speaking up, but it's observing the situation. You know, it's all eyes and ears. And that's a really, the mice in my own personal deck can sometimes be almost like a spy network, because it's the people who go unnoticed but hear everything. So it's the cleaner in the office who overhears the whole, you know, the whole strategy for the entire season. You know, it's like, no, you know, think of Selena Kyle. Think of Batman Returns, where is it Selena? It's Selena, isn't it? She's in the office, she's in the boardroom, and she's like a secretary. She's coming in, she's kind of like pouring them drinks, and then all the men are kind of around that boardroom table, kind of having this big discussion, and she has this idea, and he's like, shut up, it's not your place to kind of like say that. So again, it's like almost like observe, but you don't necessarily want to be observed to be observing. Okay, interesting. So what is Gemini's energy, please? Tell me about Gemini's energy. You feel betrayed in May. You feel like you've been stabbed in the back. Something's ended. It was unexpected and it was painful. Could be in the past, which is why you're keeping yourself small now. right? It's like if you spoke up in the past and it didn't work out for you, you would then start to keep yourself small because you don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. You're coming through the Muse Tarot, by the way, so anything from the Muse Tarot is going to be your own energy. Anything from the Light Seas Tarot is going to be circumstantial for you. I'm going to go ask about your emotions through May. We're kind of going to have a bit of a timeline from beginning to end of May. Emotions, your thoughts, and the practical, like, actual situation, your action space. Let's go for Gemini, please, for May. That's the card they want. That's your energy, the Page of Swords, the Observer. So again, you feel at the start of May like you need to be in observation mode. You know, it's not, you know, you feel observed, you feel watched, because again, it's not your energy. You feel like you're under observation. You feel like people are watching you. It could be like social media. You feel like somebody's watching you on social media. You know, they're gaining information from you. Maybe, again, it could be like an employer and they're watching your social media to see what kind of person you are, whether they want to offer you something or not. It could be something like that. There's some deception. You're sensing this about the situation. Somebody's watching you, but they're pretending not to watch you, I want to say. But you sense this, right? You intuit it. And then you've got the, I'm going to take both of those, the Eight of Wands and the High Priestess. You intuitively know when to take action and when not to take action. You emotionally, you're picking up on something here. It's like you know when to communicate and you know when to keep your mouth shut because you've got that High Priestess energy. You're very sensitive to the situation. Again, it's like you know you're being observed. You know this person's being a little bit cloak and dagger. You know that they're not necessarily... They don't want to be seen to be observing you. But you're observing them. Yeah, so it's like you know when to take action and you know when to not take action. It's the sort of thing, it has the sort of thing of like, if you think somebody, say you keep going to places and this person keeps showing up there, you know, like say it's like an ex or something, you know, you go to this place, your ex is there, and they're like, oh, what a coincidence, I'm here as well, and you're like, right, okay, that is a weird coincidence, and then it happens again, and then it's like, this feels off. Either they're watching my social media to know where I'm going to go and where I'm going to be, or, you know, I'm talking to friends and those friends are talking to his friends, and then, I mean, he, she, they, right? And so like, because I've said where I'm going, it's like this person gets a whiff of it. They're, you know, maybe they're asking your friends, oh, what are they doing this weekend? You know, what are you doing this weekend? And it's like,
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
You're just talking about the being watched thing, and my sim just got the fear of being watched.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Confirmation from the universe. There you go. Jay's sim just got a fear of being watched.
It's because I stuck him in the mill tunnels.
So yeah, you've got a fear of being watched. But I want to say with the High Priestess, it's not. If that was the moon, I'd say it was a fear, but it's not. It's the High Priestess, and the High Priestess knows things. So it's like, because you are logical, right? Because your sword's energy, Gemini, because you have a basis in logic and reason. So you're like, if this person showed up like one place I was at, that would be a coincidence. Showing up two places that I'm at is a coincidence, but maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe I need to investigate this a little bit. So nobody can pull the wool over your eyes, right? Because you've got that fox energy in the underlying. It's like, you know, there's sneakiness happening here. You know that, like, yes, coincidence is a thing, but this is more than coincidence. And it's like, then you start to say, oh, hang on, I posted that I was going to that event a few days before I went, and then they showed up. And then it's like, oh, and I remember talking to that person who I know talks to them about where I was going. So it's like, you put two and two together and you're like, oh, it's more than coincidence. This person's watching me. So then you get, I would say what you need to do, again, knowing when to post and when to move. It's like, it's almost like you go a bit cloak and dagger. I want to say it's something like, you know, you start to post that you'll be at one place and then you'll go to another. It's like misdirection then, because it's like, you know that if you, it's like, you know when they're watching and when they're not watching, I want to say. Because again, you're very clever and you're very strategic. I think you can figure out, it's like you can figure out what time they're going to be online. Something like that. So what's going on in your thoughts then? I saw that card first, the Hanged Muse. Yeah, you're really looking at something. That's your energy, right? Yeah, that's from your deck. You're reviewing something here. You're looking at something from a different direction. You're looking at it from multiple angles. You're really taking your time here to figure this out. I have this feeling of you putting on, like, it's almost like a tightrope act, right? Because, like, look at all this. So it's like a circus act. Like, it's like, this is, you know, like Cirque du Soleil or something. It's like she's doing this trapeze act, this balancing act. This person's walking a tightrope here. This person's on, like, the high wire. Maybe this is, like, something about a circus. It's like these two are kind of like also on like the high wire or tightrope. They're doing some kind of performance together. So you've got this thing about, maybe you feel like you're walking a tightrope, or you feel like, again, it's like you feel like you've got eyes on you. You feel like people are watching you. So you're almost putting on this performance. So again, I have this feeling of like misdirection perhaps, of, right, and if I know they're watching me, I can misdirect them by doing something unexpected, perhaps, with this. And then the Muse of Materials, again, this is your energy. So you're thinking about how to really be the master of your own resources. Really kind of like, it's like get your finances in order, you know, really maximize your skills and potential here in something. It's like being your own boss kind of energy, but not only being your own boss, it's like being responsible for other people. It's for some reason. And where does this go? So this is in your thoughts. Hierophant energy, and this Hierophant's been about, it's almost like, how do I make something right with God? How do I generate good karma for myself by providing resources? Because you're the king of materials, right? This is all your energy. A new perspective of how to be a leader in a very practical and tangible sense, where you're making sure people's needs are met. You're doing this with a sense of consciousness, like having a good conscience, because you want to balance out a situation and make it right and equal. It's like everybody should get their fair share in this situation, because this is what sits right with me. This is what sits right with my conscience. It could also be, this is the way it's traditionally done, which is taking me back to Aries' reading. This is tradition. So that's your thoughts. So, and I want to say that is genuinely, like, that's your genuine thoughts throughout May. How do I make this situation right? How do I make sure everybody's needs are met? How do I make sure everybody, if you are some kind of boss, how do I make sure everybody's contributed properly for their time and contribution to this project? How do I make sure my kids are fed? How do I make sure my bills are paid? How do I make sure my employees pay their bills? Again, there's Taurus there. So I feel like this is Taurus, Gemini, cusp. You've got some spillover. No, so you're wanting to do this right thing on a very practical level. You're thinking, how do I do this? But at the same time, you feel like somebody around you is watching you and being deceptive. But you'll know in your heart of hearts when is the right time to make a move on something. Strange reading. So, but you're feeling really backstabbed and betrayed there. So your action space in May then. Success. Again, this feeling of being in, it's like putting on a show. It's like you feel like the spotlight's on you. You feel like, maybe you do, maybe you have some kind of celebrity, maybe you're doing well on TikTok or something. You do feel a little bit like, almost like under a microscope, or, you know, like everybody's watching you. Maybe if you've got some success in your life, like you're doing well in work, your friends and family are all kind of like watching you. Taurus had a bit of that. It's like, how does Taurus do it? I want to learn from Taurus. Don't like that deceptive energy with the fox as well. I mean, sometimes you come through as the fox. I remember there was a phase where you were the fox, like you were the one being deceptive, but it's showing as somebody else there. And then you've got the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is, I mean, it's grieving, right? It's being disappointed. So not just feeling disappointed, but being seen to be disappointed, being seen to be grieving, being seen to be mourning some sort of loss. That's not you. It's not you. It's the other deck. You're watching somebody else have success. You're watching somebody else who's being cheered on. They're under the limelight. You're watching somebody else grieving a loss. So what are you doing? You are very passionate. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Five of Pentacles on their side as well. You feel a bit like you're pulling the rug out from somebody else's feet, or stealing the limelight in some sort of way. The Muse of Inspiration, or just doing your own thing, right? Shake it off. You're doing your own thing. You're doing it well. With the Muse of Pentacles and the Muse of Inspiration, that's the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So you're really showing up in a very, very strong way. Like Hierophant, Hanged Muse, like 3 major arcana, 2 kings. Like you really feel like you've got your act together. You know what you're doing. You know where you're going. You know you're passionate. You're a leader. You're forward thinking. You're successful. But it's almost like this other person's having some sort of fall from grace in a way. I want to say maybe because they've generated their own bad karma. The 7 of Swords. Okay. And a sincere wish will be granted. Needle and thread. Then what's going on here? So it's like you're watching someone else grieve, but you're doing well. Vulture. Depression, anxiety, worry that somebody is against you. I want to say that's on their side. Is it? August. Somebody could be somebody with an August birthday, so that's Leo, Virgo. Yeah, Leo, Virgo. Or something could have happened in August. Let's get your advice card. I can't figure out exactly. I mean, you've got to Shake It Off, right, by Taylor Swift. So it's like, because you're showing up really strong, I want to say just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, maybe do be quiet about it. Maybe just get your head down, do your work, you know, enjoy yourself. Maybe you don't need to kind of tell everybody what you've got going on. You are allowed to keep secrets and keep some things to yourself with that High Priestess energy. Maybe this is a lesson that you're learning in May, that you don't need to tell everybody. You don't need to publicize everything that you're doing. You can keep things to yourself and just enjoy it. You don't need to kind of like impress these people who are watching you and judging you. Making me think of that FKA Twigs song. They're watching, they're waiting. You know, they want me to not be good enough. But you are good enough. Like you're already doing it. So I want to say it's like the best revenge is just being successful and living your own life and shaking off the criticism, I guess. The funny thing about this deck, I keep mixing the cards and it re-sorts itself into its own colours, which is a strange thing. I'm just going to kind of do it as it is. So this is ancestor guidance. So this could be your own spirit guides. It could be ancestors who have passed over. It could be people in your own life who are showing up for you and embodying this energy. And it could just be an energy, an aspect of yourself that you also want to tap into in May and kind of like, you know, emulate those energies yourself. So however you want to take it is absolutely fine, and it is just guidance. Take it or leave it. What do we have, please, for Gemini for May? So guidance for Gemini for May, please. I'm hearing May Day, like the holiday, like maypole, like flower, like again, I feel like maybe somebody's putting on some kind of like display with all the flowers as well. It's making me think of like the May Day floats. The Black Madonna, Cosmic Mother, the Beginning, the Void, and Julungul, Transition, Life Stages, Coming of Age. Okay, so what are they read from? So they're read from the Goddess deck. Okay, the Black Madonna. Images and statues of the Black Madonna have been hidden away in corners of churches since the early days of Christianity. Many have been removed over time, some even painted over, and others explained away as just charred and burned statues of Mother Mary, although the paint around her is always miraculously untouched. However, there are images of the Black Madonna that remain, quietly reminding us that there was and is more to the Christian faith than often meets the eye. It is said that the Black Madonna is a nod to the old ways, to the old goddesses who came before Mother Mary, and to the goddesses of ancient Egypt. Some say the Black Madonna is simply an aspect of the goddess Isis, while others say she is the first goddess, the first woman. She is often referred to as a cosmic mother and is the void from which all life was born. The Black Madonna is a powerful goddess who, while often associated with Christianity, is so much older. She's ancient, she's before time, she is the moment before the inhale, and she can guide you through new beginnings and any time you want to start again. The Oracle. This is a moment of stillness before the new. Prepare yourself for the journey, take a breath and jump into the unknown. Kind of is making me think a little bit of Aries' reading as well, if you've got placements in Aries. Call on the Black Madonna for assistance with new beginnings, starting over, dark nights of the soul, loneliness, being unable to find your way forward, creation and manifestation. Embody the energy of the Black Madonna by being comfortable in the void, remembering you are made of stardust, embracing the blank page, looking to the future, not the past, speaking your dreams and wishes to the universe, intentionally manifesting and embracing the mystery. So I'll show you that if you want to kind of pause that and kind of have a little check-in with that throughout the month. And 35. Yeah, you have this feeling of kind of like doing your own thing, minding your own business. I don't think you're necessarily keeping yourself small. You're just kind of trying not to be noticed as you go about something that actually is really quite powerful with all that king and kind of authoritative energy. Julungul is the Aboriginal rainbow serpent goddess. Her name, role and gender vary over all of Australia, but she is commonly known through creation myths as a creator goddess and bringer of life. She is a powerful being who is said to have created the mountains, valleys, lakes, rivers and landscapes. One of her roles included overseeing the initiation of boys into manhood, swallowing them up as boys and regurgitating them as men. Julungul has the power to both create and destroy, associated with the weather, water, oceans and waterfalls, fertility, health, healing, rebirth and puberty. She is a powerful energy to call upon during times of change, such as when you want to create or change something in your life, or when you are going through a time of transition or initiation. The Oracle. You are going through a divine initiation and coming of age. You are being asked now to step into the next version of yourself, the next chapter, and then step forward into a new journey. Call on Julungul for assistance with transitions, life stages such as puberty and menopause, spiritual initiation, creativity, connecting with the land, relationships with boys and men. Embody the energy of Julungul by holding sacred feminine space for the masculine, creating the landscape of your dreams, initiating yourself into a spiritual path, honoring and accepting different life stages, seeing change and transition as opportunities for growth, and honoring the land. So you have this feeling of like, I mean, the butterfly is symbolic of Gemini energy, and you feel like you're having a chrysalis moment, and this is like the void space between the old and the new. So I feel like there are things that are breaking away, right? There are things that are falling apart, falling away for you at this time with like the building blocks and the Ten of Voices. But I want to say you're being encouraged to see this as the transformation process in terms of like saying goodbye to the caterpillar, saying goodbye to the you that had to just crawl on the ground. Like, this is you getting your wings. This is you turning a situation on its head with the hang muse energy, and seeing the glass as half full, right? Seeing the loss as a future win, seeing the loss as the space being created for new things to come into your life, and being very excited for that, and very excited and very practical. You're coming at this new situation with a lot of energy and a lot of drive, but it's coming in with a very, very practical mindset as well. Like, this isn't all ideas. It's the willingness to at least spend some time thinking about how to get those ideas off the ground and into action. It's not all drive, right? There's some traction there too. Again, I have this feeling of like, maybe there's an expectation of people that you should be publicly grieving. This is something that I've kind of been exploring with myself. You know, I've gone through the grief process recently too, and the idea of like, you know, being at a funeral, I'm not the sort of person to be like wailing and throwing myself on the coffin. You know, I'm the sort of person to be kind of like laughing and joking with people I've not seen for a while, because I think, because I'm a Libra, right? I'm a Libra, I've got a Gemini moon. So understanding that air sign energy, the swords energy, as a thinker, it's like you might see my auntie's a Gemini as well, and she's like this too. Like, we tend to grieve very privately in our own space, behind closed doors kind of thing. And it's like, wailing isn't going to bring someone back, is it? It's like, it's almost like the practical approach of like, well, that's wasted energy, you know. And it's all I can say is that you've definitely, you feel betrayed. You've had some kind of loss, something that you feel like you've been stabbed in the back in some sort of way, and that 10 of voices is some kind of ending, and it's an uncomfortable ending, right? And then you end up with the building blocks, like the Lego set has been smashed to pieces. So instead of, again, it's like everybody's watching you, right? And they're watching you, I want to say, with not good intentions. Excuse me. Yeah, so just to give you a bit of an overview of the reading. So you're very aware that people are watching you, and they don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. There's a sneaky reason why these people are watching you. I want to say there's this expectation of you to put on some kind of public display of grief, public maybe putting out a tweet or a public statement about some sort of loss that you've experienced, whatever this is for you, whatever this ending is for you. It's like people are expecting you to kind of like be public about it. And I want to say that you are not inclined to be public about it. You are inclined to take action secretly. The priestess is a secret action. So you're keeping your mouth shut. You're doing what needs to be done on a needs to know basis. Yeah, you're doing what needs to be done on a needs to know basis, and it's nobody else's business what you're doing, right? And you do like vulture energy as well. That's like the picking a carcass energy, right? For want of a better term. So it's like it's like the people who are circling after an ending because they want to pick off some of these building blocks, right? So again, you're not really, it's low vibrational energy, and you're not dealing with that. I want to say that you do have your own wishes. You do have your own, I mean, there's grief on their side. They feel like they're feeling a sense of loss, and it's tangible loss as well. It's like a loss of an opportunity, a loss of provisions. It's yeah, so it's almost like they're experiencing a loss as well, like 10 of Swords, right? So it's almost like they want you to feel the way that they're feeling, and you seem to be, yes, you're feeling that loss, but you also have your own dreams, your own goals, your own wishes, your own aspirations, your own things that you've got going on, right? It's like you're not going to let your whole world fall apart because of whatever this was. You're being flexible, right? And you're seeing the opportunity as the building blocks of a new opportunity with that kind of death and transformation butterfly energy. You are you're moving forward, but you're moving forward like a king. So the queens are more expressive than the kings. So the muse in this deck is the kings. Even though like women on them, I don't know. But you are going through, can you see these portals, right? It's like you are going through these portals. You are going through to this new phase with that king energy, right? Which is very authoritative. You are an authority in your own life. And I want to say, you know it. You're excited, you're enthusiastic, you're driven, you've got ideas. You've if you don't have the practical resources, you are putting your mind to how to get them. I do want to say as well, there's this like watching energy, right? But it's like you're just shaking it off and walking straight through. You know what your future is for you, and you're very driven to move in that direction. Yeah, the queens in the tarot tend to be more expressive and more open and more forthcoming with how they're thinking, feeling, moving. The kings play the cards more close to the chest, and they do act on a more needs to know basis. Yeah, you do feel like you're kind of on your own to a certain extent, but I think it's almost like that's suiting you. That's suiting you. And you want to be very fair as well. This is the thing. You want to be very, very fair. You know, you want to make sure everybody's taken care of in this situation, and that's very genuine. So I want to say again, you've got a sincere wish to be granted. So as long as you personally, Gemini, are operating from a place of high vibration, of wanting the best outcome for everybody involved, of having sincere wishes that are not from the ego but are from the heart, I feel like the universe is going to absolutely be on your side. Even if you do feel like you're kind of like walking a tightrope and swinging a high wire at the moment, I feel like the universe is kind of like patching the holes before you get to them, something like that. It's like the universe is kind of mending the bridge before one step ahead of you, so something like that coming through with that. And yeah, you don't worry about the people around you who might not have very good intentions, because you know, if they're operating in that energy, that's really bad karma. And yeah, I think you're going to go through this portal easily, and they're going to get left behind if they're not, it's like the door's going to close on them, right? Because they're not operating in the right frequency to go through to that next stage. All right, I'm going to get you a song on camera, and then we're going to close out the reading. What do we have for Gem Gems, please? Gem Gem Rabbits. Running Out of Roses, Alan Walker and Jamie Miller. I'm all by myself, seen this show like 1,000 times. It's a side effect, loneliness without no reply. So funny, seeing this show, right? I was saying it's like going to a circus. In my mind, I just keep pretending it's a big old lie. Dancing on the table, city full of angels. Didn't I have that? It's like you're doing a balancing act on the bar or something. Dancing on the table, city full of angels, dreams of diamonds and gold. All the different faces, ones I used to hate. I miss them now that they're gone. Oh my God, did we go too far? Did we waste it all like we're running out of roses? Plastic cups, did we laugh enough? Looking back on us now that everything is over. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll let you look up the rest of the lyrics yourself. But I hope this reading was really helpful to you. I hope it brought you some clarity. Please take care of yourselves, Geminis. Please keep, just whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. It's nobody's business except for your own, right? You can tell who you want to tell. And maybe just keep things off social media a little bit. In the month of May, best of luck. Do take care. I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.